Okay, so, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a speed presentation because of the film, and you can go back and watch it later. This is gonna be the first lesson in trig, right? Trig is short for trigonometry. Okay, say trigonometry. Okay, and you can call it trig for short. And you're gonna see what it is here. It's one of the toughest subjects you'll have in geometry, but somehow students do really well with it, right? So I'm hoping you like it as much as I did when I was in high school. Okay, so first let's start with the type of triangle that trig works for. What type of triangle is this?
Right triangle.
You want to say right. Do you know for sure? What do you need to know for sure? The little square. Once we do this, now you know for sure. Otherwise, it's just a drawing. You with me? At this point, we need the evidence of that little square to tell us it's 90. This is now a right triangle. There's 3 sides to the triangle. Do you know the names of any of them? Good. Those are types of triangles and types of angles. How about the names of the sides of the triangle?
Leg, and hypotenuse.
Leg, and hypotenuse. Do you know which are which? Go like this with your fingers, right? A triangle has 2 legs like a human, okay? I don't know any other way to do it. And how do you know which 2 of the sides are the legs?
They're
So-
attached to the right angle.
So I'm going to go with this one. It's the 2 attached to the right angle. Okay, so this becomes a leg here, and this becomes a leg here. Now, I think maybe where you're going with that, Sophia, is this one across from the 90? Do you know the name of this one? It's hypotenuse is the way it's spelled, but you say it hypotenuse. Everybody say hypotenuse? Okay, so hypotenuse has 2 characteristics. It's the longest side. And I don't know if you can see that from the fact that this one's shorter, this one's a little longer, and this one's even longer. But it's not always obvious. But it's also across from the largest angle. Because this is 90, it opens the widest. Therefore, this has to be longest side. So across from largest angle. All right, so trig only applies to right triangles. We're going to now go through and talk about a word we're going to use, an acronym we're going to use, which is Sohcahtoa. Repeat after me. Sohcahtoa.
Toa.
Now put it all together. Sohcahtoa.
Sohcahtoa.
It sounds crazy at first, but it's going to save your life in this topic. Because this stands for something that we're going to do today. This stands for something we'll do tomorrow. And this stands for something we'll do next week. But it will all help you figure out these trig formulas or trig functions. Okay, so let's start with so. So stands for sine of the angle, which we're going to call alpha because we don't know what it is. And it's equal to the opposite leg, and I'm going to abbreviate it op leg, over, as in a fraction, the hypotenuse. And I'm going to abbreviate it height. So notice here, see the S, the O, and the H. That's the so in Sohcahtoa. And it helps you, when you start to forget these, you're going to write down Sohcahtoa on your paper, and then start to figure out each one. This is going to be another one, and this is another one. These are called trig functions. They're on your calculator. Do you have your calculators out? Undo the, what's that called when you rotate it? Undo the lock on that so that it will rotate. Go to your calculators, because we're going to use it really quick here. Who has Apple? Who has an iPhone? Okay. And who has an Android? Just maybe one Android. They work slightly differently when you type them in. All right, so let's go to the next setup. Opposite leg. Okay. This alpha is the angle we're solving for. So remember how we use x in algebra? X is an unknown, it's a variable, right? Now that we're talking about angles, we love to use the Greek alphabet. So we'll use things like alpha, beta, those kind of symbols will now be dropped in for which angle are you finding. the legs start to take on different locations as an opposite leg or adjacent leg, depending on which angle is the reference angle or the angle we're interested in. So let's use the notes. Here's a given right triangle. If alpha's here, this is the angle we're interested in solving for. So what's the rotation from here to here? That's the angle we're interested in. This is still a leg over here, and this is still a leg here. Why? They're attached to the 90, and a triangle has two legs like a human. So this one, though, leg, is because it's touching, it's called the adjacent leg. And because this one's across the way, this is called the opposite leg. Now, remember back from day one, almost day one, we started talking about opposite versus adjacent in geometry. They have their own sort of usage, right? Remember we were talking about if there's houses on a street, and the house on this street and the house on the other side of the street, we would say that that house is opposite this one, and it means on the other side of the street. You with me? Where we use the word opposite sort of differently in geometry. And then adjacent means if the two houses are next to each other, they would be said the two houses are adjacent to each other on the same side of the street. Does that make sense? Adjacent means next to. Opposite means across from. So notice across from this angle is opposite. And next to this angle is adjacent. When we're talking about the two legs, this is still the hype up here. HYP, hype. So what does this look like? Let's do our first problem. Given a right triangle, given an alpha, an unknown angle, we want to find out the measurement right here of this angle. We know the length of this side is 10 units. We don't care what kind, just 10 units long. So this is 10 long, and this is 3 long. Here's how we use this first sine function, trig function. We say sine alpha equals op leg over the height. We don't know alpha, so it remains sine alpha. We do know the op leg. Am I doing the right one here? No, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm labeling it wrong. I apologize. The 10's not here for this leg. I really wanted to do the sine function, so I got to put the 10 up here. All right? So, do we know the length of the op leg? Because this one's across from this 3 is the opposite leg, so it goes on top of the fraction. The 10 is sitting on the hypotenuse, so it goes in for the hypotenuse. And then because we're trying to find out the angle, we do this opposite sine function where alpha is equal to sine with a -1 symbol on it, 3 over 10, like this. Now this looks like a negative, in other situations in math we have a negative power or exponent. That's not the situation here, it's a notation. It means the reverse of a sine. Now get out your calculators. On your iPhone, let me say that first since most of you seem to have those in the room right now. I want you to turn it sideways. Good. Type 3 divided by 10. 3 divided by 10 equals. Say equals. Good. Anybody not up with me? Go quickly, go quickly. Click second. See the second key right there? Click second. Do you see how the sign now has a -1 on your keypad? See the sign right here with a -1 on it? Click that. Go ahead. And it gives you alpha is approximately equal to 17.5 degrees. 17.45, so 17.5. Did you stay up with me, the iPhone users? Did you get it done, miss? Okay. Okay, and I can go back through with you. If you have an Android phone, you're going to type second on yours. Are you with me? No? It's sideways. It may not be a second key, and maybe 2 arrows. Yes, good. So now do sine -1, and it gives you a parentheses. Do 3 divided by 10. 3 divided by 10. And look, it's exactly like on the board. click radians there. Degrees. Do it over again. We want it to be degrees. Clear? Yeah. Clear this. Good. Click radians to degrees. Good. Oh, that. Back to degrees. No, should work. So, sine -1. Good. 3 divided by 10. It's not a sine h. Here, there, I'm sorry. I can't see it. Do it again. My bad. There you go. 3 divided by 10. 17, finally. I'm sorry. I was telling you, we were doing the hyper sign. Okay, let's do one more example. Let's do 37 degrees, 12 question mark. Here's another one. 37 degrees, 12 question mark. Did we draw it right? Given a right triangle, we now know the measure of the angle. We want to find the length of this side. It's still an opposite leg over here. This is an op leg. And this is the height right here. So we're still starting with the sine function, sine alpha equals, and this is our basic setup every time, and it goes with the so. Sine alpha equals op leg over height. Sine, in this case, we have the 37 degrees. Go with 37 degrees equals op leg is an x, height is 12, and now we're going to do some algebra. We're going to rearrange some things. We're going to multiply both sides by 12. And we're going to get x equals 12 sine 37. Okay, ready on yours again? So go to your calculator again. Type in 37 degrees. If you're an iPhone user, 37 sine times 12. 37. Go back to second. There's sine times 12 equals 7.22. Is that what I'm supposed to get? 7.22. And we're going to say x is approximately equal here to 7.22. So notice the length of this one here is 12 long. This is going to be 7.22 long with this solution. And we use the approximate equal to because if you look at the number of digits, it's truncating all those digits across there. So we can't say equals to because it's not exact. It's approximately equal to. And then in our next lessons, we'll go over the other two trig functions, the cosine and the tangent. Okay? All right, done.
Stop it.